studio today we have Venerable Funsho Awe, the NCP gubernatorial candidate for Lagos State. It's a pleasure having you on SaharaTV, sir.
Thank you very much.
Are Nigerians better off than they were before the advent of the APC government in Nigeria today, in 2015?
Is Nigeria better off than 4 years ago?
Exactly.
Without putting the acronym APC or PDP.
That's right.
Because the brand APC and the brand PDP, at times I look from one to the other and look from the other to one, and I can actually see a difference. So it's just a case, if you are putting it succinctly and said, is Nigeria better off than they were 4 years ago? And I think the debacle actually started 20 years ago. And from that time, it has been a fall. We have been dwindling. If you take a statistics of the economy,
Yeah.
you take a statistics of social welfare, from 20 years ago till now, you will discover that we have just been going down and down and down and down. We've never been moving up.
That is so sad. What do your party, the NCP, see as a major issue eroding the common good in our country? And what will your party do about this issue?
Very good question. An average Nigerian, the simple common man out there, just want to live a good life. He wants to have a job. He's hardworking. He wants to work. He wants a situation where social amenities are provided for him and his household. In this time and this age, we shouldn't be talking about lack of electricity. We should be talking about basics like water. All those things are just supposed to be there. Good roads, basic health facilities. This is what give people life, and that's what people look forward to. It's funny to me at times when Nigerian government are being praised because they do road, and the man is said, I've been able to construct 5 roads, 10 roads. Issues in politics in developed nations are not based on those things. Those things are natural things. They are basic things that government should provide. And so we should be talking about a man having a good life. And that is what the National Conscience is all about. National Conscience Party is all about. 24 years ago, Ganifa Emi pulled some people together, and that gave birth to this party, the National Conscience Party. And our motto simply is abolition of poverty. And in this time and age, even when the Prime Minister of Britain came to Nigeria and labeled Nigeria the poverty capital of the world, I think the main cross and what is in the heart of the program of NCP is to do something about poverty.
How will your party mobilize the grassroots in this instance as the elections approaches so that they are geared towards, the collective good? They realize that this is what we want. We want an alternative, instead of what we have as a mainstream today, and that has failed them. What is your party doing to orientate and organize these folks?
Well, we're going to try our best. We are honestly going to try our best, considering the fact that mobilizing the grassroots is actually like educating the grassroots. Educating them and taking them away from the indoctrination that has been given them up till now. Indoctrination, you know, poverty can do a lot of things to a man's psyche. Like I used to say, I'm basically a churchman. And I tell people, when a poor man is sick, he seeks God. When a rich man is sick, he looks for the doctor. The grassroots in Nigeria are basically being exploited by religion, exploited more by politicians. And that is why politics has gone to that level in Nigeria now, where it is all an issue of what can I eat right now.
Talking about that indoctrination, one of the major concerns has to do with, as it relates to the 2019 general elections, from what we've seen in recent time, is the issue of vote buying. People, due to the poverty, are subjected to selling their votes, so to say, with as little as 250 naira to as much as 5,000.
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Wow. What are you doing to reorientate people in this regard?
Poverty. Poverty. Like in Ondo State, it was the acronym, Diboko Sebe. Now we give you 3,000, you cook a pot of soup. How long will the pot of soup last? The same thing happened in Ekiti. The same thing happened in Osun. And it's an indication of where we are going in 2019. Even when the party primaries, not my party, are based strictly on cash and carry. That is the level of poverty of people. I've seen poverty in Nigeria. You can see it all around you. You park your car, somebody remove your headline cover. How much does it sell for? You park your car, somebody remove the spare tire. How much does it sell for? Who will ever think of removing somebody's spare tire in a country where everything, you know, is provided and it's all right? How are we surviving in Nigeria? We are a country where the majority of the people depend on second-hand goods. You buy Tokumbo pants, buy Tokumbo shirts, buy Tokumbo trousers. Things that people have disposed of. We have become like a charity country. And so people are poor. And when a man is poor, he just wants to survive. He just wants to eat. And so the 1,000, the 500 means a lot to them.
Venerable, you're contesting under the platform of the National Conscience Party as a gubernatorial candidate in Lagos State. What specifically would your party do to improve the state's infrastructure, especially roads, transport systems? What will you do?
There's an enormous work to be done in Lagos, considering the space we have in Lagos and the population. Estimatedly, we could estimate Lagos to be about 20 million people. That's a top load for this space we have. In fact, that is a population heavier than the population of most African countries.
You're right.
And so there's quite a lot of work to do. And that is why the load on the infrastructure we have is top heavy. One of the greatest problems we have in Lagos is movement. Basic movement. You discover that a lot of time is wasted moving from one point to the other.
Yeah.
You tend to leave Agege and you want to go to the island and you feel that's the whole work you are going to do that day. And so I believe that we have to add more to the road. Then the ones we have must be so maintained, because every little pothole that slows down traffic in Lagos builds up traffic. Right. And so the road must be constantly maintained. We must open up new roads. Lagos is such a place where you can link all the roads. So you have to look at a point where you can link roads successfully to be able to remove the bottleneck we have in some constant areas. We've done a blueprint for that so that we will be able to ease off traffic in Lagos. And again, there's need to revisit the issue of mass traffic, mass transportation, in such a way that during the era of Lateef Jakonde, there's an idea to put in a metro line. Subsequent government just did abandon it. I didn't know what happened. Fashola was trying to do one along the Badagry axis. His predecessor didn't do so much follow-up on that. So it stalled. The rail moves quite a lot of people. I could see so many crowd, mounting on the rails when the train was running between Ido and Alagbado. And we can improve on that. The rail is already there. We can come into an agreement with the Nigerian Railway Corporation and have an effective one, and also create rooms to move it. And basically, Lagos, when we're talking about transportation, is also a place that is so blessed with water. And so we could also improve on water transportation. You will discover that the whole of Lagos is crisscrossed by canals. Like, for example, let me just give you an instance. I could foresee a situation where a man gets to Allen Obafemi Awolowo Way and take a ferry to Lekki. Because there's a canal that runs through that place. All we need to do is dredge the canals. They are all over Lagos. Dredge them ready for water transportation, as we have them in Venice, as we have them in Amsterdam. And so we have, and that solves two problems in Lagos. It defloods the state, because these canals are not dredged. These canals are places where people dredge a lot of rubbish, and that's why we have flood. And so we deflood the state at the same time and create waterways by which we can move goods and people.
What case are you making for your party, for Lagosians to actually consider voting your party in the next elections?
Like we said earlier on, when we talk about issue of money in politics, I'll go back to the heart of apostles. Say, gold and silver I have none. But what I have, we are ready to put across to Lagosian. We'll be seeking people's support for fund. Not fund to distribute to people, to buy vote, but funds to make our programs clear to people so that they know what we are doing. Because actually, like they say in the word of advertisement, if you wink in darkness, nobody knows what you are doing. So people might not actually know what we want to do unless we have the avenue to reach out to them. So we intend to do that, reach out to them, and appeal to the conscience of the people, like the name of our party suggests. like you actually put out in your topic for this program, people should know that there's an alternative. A lot of people tend to think that it is only you either vote APC or you vote PDP. No, there's an alternative. For crying out loud, we have 91 political parties. People should look beyond these two. When it comes to presidential election, the issue is now narrowing down to Atiku, Buhari. It's not supposed to be. There are people who are more intelligent than these two, who are better grounded than these two. People who are younger than these two. People who are more visionary than these two. So in this particular election, I will just appeal to Nigerians. Let's look beyond these two parties and begin to look at other alternatives we have. A nation basically cannot move ahead if we keep recycling the old thing that has never worked. Buhari was there, he came back, he wants to continue. Atiku has been there, he wants to continue. Obasanjo was there, Obasanjo came back, Obasanjo is still dictating who continues. And the country has not fared better. The country has remained the same. You know, when you go to a military parade, the commander says, "Pression, mark time." And so when you mark time, you stay on the same spot. We've been marking time in Nigeria for quite a long time. We are not even marking time. We are going backward. I think it is time that Nigerians consider closing their eyes, dropping these people, and moving forward.
Finally, Venerable Funsho Awe, if there was one piece of advice you give to the millennials, the Lagosian youths, Nigerian youths, at this time as the election nears, what would that piece of advice be, sir?
You have your PVC. Your vote counts. In the first place, if your vote does not count, these people will not be trying to buy your vote. Your vote counts. Close your eyes. Forget APC. Forget PDP. Look for credible candidates. Vote them into government. Let's have this 2019. Let it be the beginning of the beginning. Because if it continues like this, like he says, those who give room, those who did not give room for peaceful change will make violent change inevitable. I just pray that this country will not go into a situation of anarchy. And if we don't want that, we need to effect the change now. There is need for a revolution. And the revolution can only be carried out by the youth. This is not a revolution of bloodshed. This is a revolution of all of us who are young going massively to vote out these two. Then there will be true revolution in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Venerable Funsho Awe, for appearing on us on SaharaTV.